Have you ever heard music that wasn't being played? A melody floating through the air with no musician in sight, just a sorrowful tune echoing from the shadows. Deep within an abandoned Victorian Opera House, a violin plays on its own, each note carrying a terrible secret. The performers who once graced its stage vanished without a trace, and those who dared to listen too closely, they were never seen again. But the music never stopped, and if you listen carefully, you might just hear it whispering your name. Do you believe that music can carry the whispers of the dead? That a melody can echo through time, untouched by human hands, yet played with a purpose unknown? There is an opera house, ancient and grand, where the chandeliers glisten but cast shadows deeper than night. Where the velvet curtains, heavy with dust and forgotten tragedies, hide something more than the stage. And where, when the world sleeps, a violin weeps with a song that no living soul has ever played. This is the Victorian Opera House, a masterpiece of architecture. Built in the heart of London during the 19th century, it was meant to be a haven for music, for art, for beauty. But from the very night it opened, something felt wrong. The performers whispered of unseen figures lurking in the wings, of cold hands brushing against them. And then there was the music. The chilling, sorrowful symphony that played when the halls were empty, when the doors were locked, when no orchestra was present. The first to disappear was a violinist, a young woman named Eleanor Wren. She had been practicing late one night when the theater stood empty. The next morning, her violin was found on the stage, its strings torn, a single note lingering in the air. But Eleanor was never seen again. Rumors spread, of course. Some said she ran away. Others whispered that she had been taken, swallowed by the darkness beneath the stage, where the forgotten tunnels twisted like veins beneath the building. But then, the music changed. The sorrow deepened. And those who heard it swore that Eleanor's violin still played, her soul trapped in a performance with no end. The next performer to vanish was an opera singer, Henry Caldwell. His voice had mesmerized crowds, his performances legendary. Until, one evening, in the middle of a rehearsal, he screamed. A raw, unnatural sound. The musicians froze. The conductor dropped his baton. When they reached the stage, Henry was gone. The only thing left was his music sheet, its notes smudged. With something dark, something red. The owners tried to silence the rumors, but the disappearances continued. A pianist, a stagehand, even an audience member who lingered too long after a show. They were all claimed by the unseen force that prowled the Victorian Opera House. But it was the night of the Grand Masquerade Ball that sealed the theater's fate forever. The elite of London had gathered, their faces hidden behind intricate masks, their laughter ringing through the grand hall. But as midnight struck, a sound silenced them all. The violin. That cursed, mournful violin. The guests turned, searching for the musician, but the stage was empty. Yet, the music grew louder, an unseen hand drawing its bow across the strings. With inhuman precision. Then, the candles flickered. The air grew heavy, suffocating. A scream echoed from the balcony, and when the guests turned, they saw him, a figure in the shadows. Tall, gaunt, his face obscured beneath a mask that gleamed like bone. He raised a gloved hand and pointed to the crowd. And one by one, the guests began to vanish. their masks falling to the floor, their bodies nowhere to be found. The few who survived that night spoke of a final sound before they fled. A whisper, woven into the haunting melody. A voice, faint but unmistakable, singing a single word: run. The Victorian Opera House was abandoned soon after, its doors sealed, its stage left to decay. But those who pass by at night swear they still hear it. The ghostly violin, the sorrowful aria drifting through the cold wind. And if you dare step too close, if you listen too long, you might hear something else. A whisper, calling your name.